Hey everybody, hope you guys are having a great day. So today's video is about realtors you should avoid at all costs. And if you need a realtor, questions you should ask them before you start working with them. And I'm gonna tell you a little backstory. About 2 weeks ago, this couple called me and he said, hey, they need an inspection. I said, great. They gave me the address. It wasn't a big house. It was a nice little house. And they were there, they met me there, everything was really good. Then what ended up happening is during the inspection, like 30 minutes into it, they get a phone call from the realtor. And the realtor said that they were coming over there to the house. And the people seemed like they got upset. So I asked them, hey, what's the matter? How come you don't want the realtor to come? And they turned around and told me, like, oh, she treats us like garbage. It's like, what do you mean she treats you like garbage? Like when we call her, and we don't call her every 5 minutes, but if we call her with a question, she acts like we're bothering her, and she's always pushing us to do this or settle for that. And the reason she didn't even want an inspection done, she says that this house is good enough that you don't even need an inspection. I was like, really? She was trying to tell you not to get an inspection? Well, she turned around and said that because of the price point of this house, if we ask for an inspection, they might not accept the offer. I was like, that's crazy, because listen, at the end of the day, there's good realtors and there's bad realtors. Just like there's good home inspectors and there's bad home inspectors. And I'm lucky because I surround myself with a lot of good realtors. And if I had a realtor that came to me and, said, hey, could you do this? Or, don't look at that, or just had an attitude, I wouldn't work with them again, because I'm choosing on who I work with. And I'm lucky. The realtors I work with are probably the best in the industry. So we're going to go over some questions to ask the realtor before you hire them. And not only ask some questions, but listen to their attitude and if they understand what you're looking for. And if not, then move on, because there's a lot of realtors, just like there's a lot of home inspectors. In the meantime, if you like this kind of video, do me a favor. Consider hitting the subscribe button, because there's plenty more to come. Thank you, and let's get started. The number one thing you want to do when hiring a realtor to help you find a house is make sure they understand the local market. If they don't understand the local market, I would move on to the next realtor. Ask them about a particular location that all the locals know about, and if they're like hesitating to understand where it is or how to get there, that's a sign that they don't know the local market. So say, hey, I want to go to this park. I want to go to this beach. How do I get there? And if they have to look it up in a GPS or on their phone, move on. That's my first recommendation. My second recommendation is if you call them and they don't pick up, that's fine. They might be with another client. It happens all the time. But if they don't respond back to you in a reasonable amount of time, and I'm not saying if you're calling them at 8 o'clock at night, because at 8, 9 o'clock at night, maybe they shouldn't pick up. But if you call them during work hours and they don't call you back for a day or two, or if you send them a text and they don't respond back to you, move on, because that just shows you right then and there what your experience is going to be with them. So if they don't respond, move on. Very important. Okay, so they're pushing you in a direction, okay? You're telling them what you're looking for, but it doesn't seem like they're listening. So you tell them you need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and they're showing you a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. Or you tell them that you want to be in a certain area, within a certain budget, and they're showing you stuff in another area on a higher budget. they're basically not, they're not looking at your best interest. If they're not listening to you, move on. Very important. Getting back to my story, if they tell you, hey, in order to get this home and get the offer, accepted, don't ask for contingencies or an inspection, because not getting an inspection on a home, I don't care if it's brand new construction or an older home or a rehabbed home, for the little money it costs compared to what you're paying for the home, it's stupid. So once they say, hey, don't get an inspection, run. And if you say, okay, we'll get an inspection, but I'll take care of it, I'll pick the inspector, that's fine. A lot of realtors, because the people don't know who to use, go to that inspector's website, check out their reviews, make sure they're good. Because if they have bad reviews, but the realtor is still pushing for you to use them, there could be a problem there. So consider that. If they say waive the inspection, if they tell you to waive termite inspection, waive anything, the best realtors, a lot of my realtors, you know what's great about them? So I'm going into a house and I see something and they're like, oh yeah, you got to put down the report. Let me call the client. They really push to really check out the home thoroughly. So when I'm there and I'm like, hey, this house is going to take 3 hours or if not longer because, I'm finding issues. They're like, take your time, find everything. Make sure you detail everything. That's what's great about the realtors I work with. Okay, when you're picking a realtor, check out their reviews. If they have negative reviews, that tells you a lot. I mean, everybody gets negative reviews. So if they have like 20 positive ones and one negative one, it's part of life. But if they have 20 negative reviews and half of them are bad, take that into consideration and read what the negative review was about. Because there are people that work with realtors that are really unreasonable. They want things that the realtors just don't have the ability to do. So check out their reviews. Here's one. Make sure they're a full-time realtor, because I know there's a lot of part-time realtors, and I'm not saying they're bad, but they might have a 9-to-5 job that you need to get in touch with them, and they just can't talk until after their workday is over with. And you're making the most important decision of your life. So my recommendation is ask them straight out, are you a full-time realtor or do you have another job and you do this on the side? Because if they're a part-time realtor, I don't know, I would think twice about it. I'm sure there's some really good part-time realtors, but I'd rather work with somebody that's full-time. And that comes true with a lot of stuff, including home inspectors. There's part-time home inspectors, but I wouldn't hire a part-time home inspector. I would just want somebody that does it every day and keeps learning every day. So I would just hire a full-time home inspector. Okay, you're driving down the street, you see a for sale sign, beautiful house. And there's a big billboard there, there's a for sale sign with the realtor's name on it. Listen, I'm not a realtor, but don't call the realtor on the sign. And I know a lot of realtors are going to be upset about this one, but they can't represent you as well as if you hire a realtor from another agency, because they're representing the seller. So I would definitely avoid calling the realtor on the sign and hiring somebody else to do the negotiating for you and show you the house. Just because you want somebody that can represent you and not somebody that represents the buyer. Let's go with another one. If your budget is $300,000 and they're telling you, well, you need to spend $350 or $400 in order to get into a certain neighborhood, it might be true. But if your budget is $300 and there are houses out there for $300, but they're showing you stuff that's $350, $360, you got to tell them, stand your ground, because they're not the ones who are making the mortgage payments, you are. And you have to take into consideration not only the mortgage payment, but the insurance and the taxes. So don't let them push you into spending a higher amount. The last thing you want to do is be house poor. To come off of that, if they act like they're a lender, they're not. They're a realtor. Okay, so if they start talking to you about loans and you could do this and you could do that, don't listen to them. Find a broker or a lender, somebody you could trust. Check out their reviews, and when you go find, a lender, shop a whole bunch of lenders. But if the realtor starts acting like a lender, they're not a licensed lender. I'm saying they might be, but most of the time they're not. So if they're acting like a lender, avoid all the information they give you and talk to an actual lender. When it comes to buying a house, there's a lot of moving pieces. Appraisers, appraisal time, termite inspection, home inspection, title companies, everything. And the realtor's job is to organize everything and make sure everything happens on a timely manner, and somebody's there to let these people in. And if they seem unorganized, forget about it. It's going to become a nightmare. So check them out and make sure that they are organized. Here's one of my biggest pet peeves. When I meet a new realtor, if they act like a diva or act, because they don't know me personally, but if they act like they're better than me or they're better than the clients, forget about it. So if you're meeting a realtor and they're like, oh, you just want to spend $300,000? Well, okay, but I like to do houses $700,000 and more. It's because that's what the commission is. But if they have any kind of attitude or any kind of, they might tell you, hey, you know what? I've been in business 20 years. I've been a realtor for 20 years. Big deal. They might have sold one house a year for the last 20 years. And now you have a realtor that's been around for 2 years and sold 30 houses. So take that into consideration. If right away, if they seem like a diva at the beginning, when you first meet them, run away, because if the way you meet them, first impressions matter, and that's how they're going to treat you going down the path. So you might not be spending $700,000, but it is. It doesn't matter if you're spending $100,000 or $1 million. They should treat you with respect and have the right attitude. And to come off that, if they say they specialize in $1 million condos, and that's what they specialize in, or waterfront properties that are $1 million. But now you're looking for something that's $300,000 in a different area, and it's not a condo; it's a house. I would run away, because you need to find a realtor that specializes in the price point and the kind of home that you want. So if you're looking for a $300,000 house, but they are, they're specializing in very expensive homes, walk away, because they're not used to it. Anyways, that's today's video. As always, I greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor, if you like this kind of content, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and give this video a thumbs up. It greatly helps out the channel. And like always, remember, about this video, pick the realtor you're comfortable with. It's not like you're going to work with them for a day or two. It might be months while you're working with them. Anyways, greatly appreciate it again. Thank you, and have a great day.